What if I told you there was a crime so disturbing that Netflix, Hulu, and even the biggest true crime channels wouldn't touch it? It started like a scene straight out of Criminal Minds. Muffled screams in the night, a man walking down a quiet street carrying nothing but a white laundry basket. And inside that basket was something so shocking, the entire community of Alton, Illinois would never forget it. But the story doesn't end there, because the truth of what happened inside that small apartment is far darker than anyone first imagined.
On October 13, 1993, Alton police received a call they thought would be routine. A neighbor reported a strange noise, screams, banging, and then silence. When officers arrived, they found nothing unusual at first, just another quiet night in a sleepy Illinois town. But just hours later, a man named Robert Hickman was spotted walking down the street. He was carrying a laundry basket, trying to act calm. Except inside that basket wasn't laundry. When officers stopped him, they uncovered a body. It was 29-year-old Lisa Pruett, a mother of two who had been brutally attacked. The shock rippled instantly through the neighborhood. This wasn't random. This was personal. And here's the most chilling part. Witnesses said Lisa had been fighting for her life inside that very apartment, while people nearby heard everything. But if the killer was already caught carrying the body, then why did investigators say the case was far from over? Because what they found inside the apartment was even worse. When police entered the apartment, they expected to find a simple crime scene. Instead, what they saw was chaos. Blood smeared across the walls, furniture overturned, signs of a desperate struggle everywhere. Lisa Pruett hadn't gone quietly. She had fought, and she had fought hard. But what chilled investigators most was how brutally personal the attack was. This wasn't just murder. This was rage. And then came the questions. Why was Robert Hickman carrying Lisa's body in that basket? Was he the killer, or just someone trying to hide the crime? Neighbors insisted they had heard multiple voices, not just one. Screams, shouts, the thud of fists slamming into walls. If Hickman acted alone, then who else was in that apartment? And that's when detectives began to unravel the darker truth, one that stretched far beyond Robert Hickman. Because Lisa Pruett wasn't just murdered. She was trapped in a twisted triangle of love, betrayal, and jealousy. To understand why Lisa was targeted, investigators had to dig into her personal life. On the surface, she seemed like the last person anyone would want to hurt. A 29-year-old mother of two, hardworking, friendly, the type of neighbor everyone trusted. But behind closed doors, Lisa's world was complicated. She had been in a relationship with a man named Cliff Bronner. At first, it seemed normal, but soon it spiraled into something toxic. Jealousy, possessiveness, explosive fights that friends we called all too well. And then came the breaking point. Lisa ended things with Cliff. She wanted peace, a fresh start. But Cliff? He couldn't let go. In fact, he grew darker, more obsessed. And before long, his jealousy pulled in another man, Robert Hickman, the very man police had caught with Lisa's body. It wasn't just a breakup anymore. It was a dangerous love triangle, where rage and obsession fed off each other. And investigators were about to uncover just how far Cliff and Robert were willing to go. October 13th, 1993, the night Lisa's world came crashing down. According to investigators, it began with Cliff. Still obsessed, still furious over the breakup, he wasn't willing to move on. And Robert Hickman, his friend, wasn't just standing by. He was right there with him. That night, the two men showed up at Lisa's apartment. What started as shouting quickly escalated into a nightmare. Neighbors later recalled hearing screams that went on for minutes, not seconds, minutes. Lisa fought back with everything she had. She clawed, she kicked, she tried to get away. But the two men overpowered her. And the brutality shocked even seasoned detectives. Lisa was beaten, strangled, and stabbed, not once, but repeatedly. The violence wasn't quick. It was slow, deliberate, almost as if both men wanted to make sure she suffered. By the time it was over, Lisa was gone. Her two children left without a mother. And then came the moment no one could ever explain. Why Hickman chose to carry her body in that laundry basket, as if he thought he could simply walk away unnoticed. But what he didn't realize was that the trail of evidence was already closing in. From the moment Hickman was caught carrying Lisa's body, investigators knew he was involved. But the crime scene told a bigger story. Inside the apartment, detectives found signs of not one attacker, but two. Different footprints, different angles of struggle, bruises on Lisa's body that suggested she was restrained by one man while another attacked. And then came the statements. Neighbors swore they heard multiple voices, arguing, shouting, and then Lisa's desperate screams. One man alone couldn't have made that much noise. Still, Hickman insisted he hadn't killed Lisa. He claimed he was just helping Cliff, that he only moved the body. But here's the problem. Cliff pointed the finger right back at Hickman.
Two men, two stories, and a mountain of evidence showing both were guilty. For detectives, the motive was chillingly clear. Cliff's obsession, Hickman's loyalty. Together, they unleashed their rage on Lisa in one of the most brutal crimes Alton had ever seen. But even after the arrests, the courtroom battle that followed left the town divided, and many still ask, did justice truly serve Lisa? When the case finally went to trial, the courtroom was packed. Family, neighbors, reporters. Everyone wanted to see justice for Lisa Pruett. The prosecution laid out its case. Two men, bound by jealousy and rage, had conspired to kill. The evidence was overwhelming. The bloody struggle, the neighbor's testimony, the fact that Hickman was literally caught carrying Lisa's body. But the defense fought back. Hickman's lawyers claimed he was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. Cliff's attorneys argued there was no solid proof he had struck the fatal blow. Each man blamed the other. In the end, the jury saw through it. Both Robert Hickman and Cliff Bronner were convicted of first-degree murder. The sentence, life in prison. For Lisa's family, it was justice, but not closure, because no sentence could bring back a 29-year-old mother of two who had her life stolen in the most violent way imaginable. And for the town of Alton, the case left scars that never truly healed. A reminder that sometimes the greatest dangers don't come from strangers in the dark, but from the people we once trusted the most. Lisa Pruett's story is more than just a true crime case. It's a warning, a chilling reminder of how love can twist into obsession, how jealousy can become rage, and how ordinary lives can unravel into unthinkable tragedy. Two men thought they could silence her. Instead, their crime ensured her voice would never be forgotten. Even today, decades later, people in Alton still remember that night, the screams, the trial, the shock that something so brutal could happen in their own neighborhood. And maybe that's the most terrifying part of all, because behind every smile, every relationship, every closed door, you never really know what darkness might be waiting.